Welcome to the Successful Life Podcast. I'm your host, Corey Barrier, and I'm here with Toney Freeman. What's up, Tony? How are you?
Great, Corey. How are you, my man?
I'm doing fantastic. So look, guys, this is going to be such a cool podcast because I've never had this guy's been a bodybuilder for 30 years, top 5 in the Olympia and top 15 in the world for a decade. So, if you're top anything in the world, that's pretty badass, if you ask me. So, Tony, let's tell us all about your story, man. I can't wait.
One thing about me is I hate talking about myself, but it is interesting if you're looking at it from an entrepreneur, a person that basically came from nothing. I'm the oldest of 4. My father's a preacher, my mother was a teacher. So we grew up, without a lot of money. I discovered at about 11 or 12 years old that I was an entrepreneur. I started cutting grass and shoveling snow. And what kind of, you always got to have a reason to drive you as a kid. You're not really thinking about making money. Well, being the oldest, I have a nurturer type mentality, taking care of my brothers and sisters after school, make sure they did their homework. And I actually started cooking at 7 years old. So I was cooking dinner for the whole family by 12 years old. So basically, I know. And what drove me to actually be an entrepreneur is I remember I tried out for the basketball team, right? And the shoes that my dad bought me to play, that they got me, that they can afford, actually, they had plastic bottoms on it. So when you get out on the basketball court and you're playing with shoes that have a plastic, that stuff doesn't even exist now. There's no grip. There's no grip. So I'm trying to guard people and I'm sliding all over the place. And it just drove me insane because I couldn't ask my parents for another pair of shoes because it was, I barely got the ones that I got. So anyway, sure. I started shoveling snow and cutting grass, and to earn my own money. I'll never forget, I bought my first pair of, the Chuck All-Stars. They were red.
Sir.
It cost like $11.99, and I actually paid for them with my own money. And that kind of started the whole thing for me. And I learned at 16, I got my first job as a dishwasher, washed dishes for 8 hours, and then I basically got fired at the end of the shift. And I was like, this working for other people sucks. So I just, like I said, I knew I was going to be an entrepreneur from way back then. And
isn't it funny how we realize that, at an early age, I know you don't know a whole lot about my story, but I sold drugs for years. And whether people would look at that as entrepreneurship or not, first of all, I made a whole lot of money doing it. But then I got in a whole lot of trouble for doing it.
Right, exactly.
So, yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
That type of stuff happens to all of us. I mean, I had my little stint in that type of stuff too. Just being out there and being ignorant, not knowing and not realizing, the opportunity that we have in America. Like, you see all these things like, Amazon, all this type of stuff. We were alive when that stuff didn't even exist. And now it's like running the whole world. So, what drives you to greatness? People run from it. They don't want to struggle. They don't want to blah, blah, blah. So I know that every time I've been faced with an obstacle or a challenge or a trial or went through some stuff, it just made me better. It's all your attitude. It's just your attitude about how you handle things. And like I say, learning. I remember in 1977 was the blizzard of 77. Literally I had to climb out of my second story window just to get down, just so I can go shovel other people out of their house. That's how much snow.
God. Where were you?
South Bend, Indiana. That's where I was born.
Good Lord, that's a lot of snow.
Yeah. And so, I basically stayed out, the whole entire day shoveling people out of their house. I must have made about $100 that day. And think about it, at 12 or 13 years old, that's like a lot of money.
That's some loot.
So I just really learned how to work hard, and I learned how to do things the right way the first time. That way you don't have to keep going back and forth doing it. And like I say, my whole life I've been an entrepreneur. I've had a couple of jobs, and even those jobs were 1099 because I still was an independent contractor. And, I learned to make my own way, and you attract what you are, a lot of ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? And, I'm very successful according to a lot of people, but to me, I haven't changed my lifestyle, even though my income is 10 times probably. It's because I'm still grinding in my mind. There's still so much work to do that, I can't really get comfortable on the inside. I'm the type of person that I end up getting, what do you call it? Analysis paralysis, because I want to do it right. And a lot of stuff that I'm learning, I'd rather do nothing than do something wrong. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather get information so I can make, an educated decision and whatnot. And a lot of times in this world, you got to kind of leap before you know. And so in most of those situations, you mess up a lot. So I try to minimize my mess ups now, at 50 something years old, and try to surround myself with the right people.
So that's two great points. I was just telling somebody last night about paralysis or analysis by whichever comes first.
Paralysis by analysis, yeah.
I mean, as an entrepreneur, I've got my hands in several things, and at times it's that paralysis is a real thing. Really? I sit down and I'm like, shit, what do I need to work? I've got all these things to work on, and they're all great things. Yeah. What do I choose to do? And so, and then the second thing that you said is the people that you surround yourself by. That's how you can tell how a person is by the people they surround themselves by. So
they
I agree.
We're the sum of our 5 closest people.
That's exactly right.
When I first heard that, I did a reality check. I'm like, I need to change my circle, or at least check the people in my circle to make sure that, and again, I'm an empath, right? I'm very passionate, and I'm the type of person that I give everybody a chance. Sure. And everybody doesn't really deserve a chance. Now, in humanity, they do, but some people just aren't. They're undeserving. You know what I'm saying? You find that out, later on. Usually it's too late or it's after the fact. But like I say, I'm learning now to be more discerning, ask more questions, so I can start avoiding some of the same mistakes that I made in the past. Although a lot of the stuff that's happened to me, I wouldn't change it because it fixed me, or it helped me to get to the next level, or it polished me, or it made me say, I'll never do that again. I mean, sometimes we need to go through those things to get to that point.
Well, so I'm glad you said that. My wife asked me an interesting question the other day. She said, Corey, she said, what would have happened? Is there anything that you wouldn't have changed 5 years ago? And I thought, what kind of question is that? And so I said, well, I guess, smart answer. I said, well, I wouldn't change being married to you because we got married 5 years ago. She said, okay. I thought really that was going to be the end of it. And she said, well, what about 10 years ago? And I said, honestly, I wouldn't change the fact I got sober. And she said, well, what about 15 years ago? And I said, honestly, this is going to sound crazy. I wouldn't change the fact that I got caught with 4 ounces of cocaine, because those things have made me the person that I am today.
That's what's up. Yeah, I remember I got in trouble back in the day, and a friend of mine, he was like, Tony, he said, one of 2 things is about to happen. He said, you'll either let this thing drag you down into the gutter, and it'll just be a perpetual hell, basically, mm-hmm. or you're going to grab yourself by the bootstraps and become the best man you possibly could be. And I chose that. I'm glad he told me the first thing at first, because I got to feel that feeling, because I was so close to the bottom already. And then I was like, whoa, well, that ain't what I want. So I immediately changed. And I actually had a similar situation. I wasn't in trouble, but I got to the point where it was time to stop serving myself. And being a professional bodybuilder, you have to have a selfish mentality to get to the top. And once you get to the top, you have to pour everything in it. So that means most of the stuff around you is secondary or thirdary or 12th dairy. You know what I'm saying? That stuff is basically slowing you down. Once you get that sundial in your mind where you want to be Mr. Olympia, if you don't keep that focus, the next dude is just going to pass you by. And when you're in the room with, the Phil Heaths and the Dexter Jacksons and the Kai Greens and the Ronnie Colemans and all that, you realize, damn, I'm good, but I'm amongst the greatest, the best to ever do it. So your game got to go up a couple of another notches, or you're gonna be sitting on the bench, basically.
And how does that feel? Do you have to shut everything out.
Everything and everyone. Yet you got to try to be balanced so you're not the asshole. You know what I'm saying?
That's it. Yes, 100%.
I'm saying, because the people that you step on your way to the top, those are the ones that are going to be looking, if you crash and burn or whatever, you see what I'm saying? So
Yes,
I basically, had to dig within myself. And like I was saying earlier about, when I finished bodybuilding, when bodybuilding wasn't going to be my way to make money, or I couldn't continue my career as a bodybuilder, mainly because I was old and injured. You know what I'm saying? Like,
sure.
You're only as good as your last hit record. You know what I'm saying?
That's it.
So I had to reinvent myself completely. Well, because I wasn't going to be able to wear the muscle suit, right? So I took the muscle suit off. So now people they get to meet the real me. And the real me is that kid that was shoveling snow and cutting grass and, hanging sheetrock. That's,
hustler.
That had no glory, no, it wasn't, I wasn't famous for that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I spent, a couple of decades being famous without the rich. You know what I'm saying? Like, it sucked. Everybody knows your business. Everybody wants to know your business, but I'm not making millions of dollars. These people in Hollywood, they're making millions of dollars. So they almost have to act a certain way or whatever. So me personally, as a bodybuilder, especially, because unlike other athletes and famous people, our fans could reach out and touch us on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a different thing, how you handle yourself, how you prepare yourself for battle. I tried to stay in battle mode for 20 years. You know what I'm saying? I really did. And when I was faced with retirement because of my age and because of my injury, like I said, I had to reinvent myself. And it was a dark 18 months from when I sat down to when I picked myself back up again.
That's what I wanted.
18 months.
How dark was it? How dark was it? I mean, because coming from being as high up on the scale, food chain, whatever you want to call it, as you were, I can't imagine psychologically how that must have impacted you.
Yeah, it was. Luckily, I got a strong woman behind me. They say behind every man is a strong woman.
Yeah.
I literally came to grips and to terms with, if it wasn't for my woman, I'm 3 steps from homeless. I'm 3 steps from going back to my mama's house, staying in the basement. You know what I'm saying? As a 49-year-old man, I was like, whoa, am I gonna have to go get a job or go? There's nothing wrong with job, but I'm saying, like, when you're getting paid to do what you love, in other words, the thing that you would do for free, the thing that I get 24/7 in my sleep, and I can't do that no more. I probably can do it, but I can't make money at it no more.
Right.
I had to go on the Chitlin circuit and try to do seminars and personal train people and all that. And I'm like, I did that already. You know what I'm saying? Go up. I ain't trying to go backwards.
No.
I said, well, I'm letting my circumstances control my mentality. So I was quote unquote depressed. I was lost. I was broke. I didn't really know what my next move was. What I had to do was dig deep inside myself and say, well, first and foremost, happiness is where it's at. You got to be happy first. I learned from a good friend of mine that we all, and we got happiness backwards. We think we need the car, the house, the education, the wife, and all that. And now we're going to be happy. You have to be happy sitting in your room in your underwear by yourself with nothing first in order to be truly happy. People can't make you happy. Things can't make you happy. Happiness is a choice. It's from within. And so once I wrapped my head around that and I started believing, okay, my circumstances don't control my happiness. I'm gonna have the right attitude. Those trials and tribulations really it's an opportunity for an attitude adjustment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I went and looked in the mirror. Now, the mirror was my friend and my enemy for 3 decades. When I was in shape, I looked in the mirror. I'm on top of the world. If I'm out of shape, I got to get my shit together. You know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
I looked in the mirror and I was like, okay, well, now what are you going to do? And so God was like, okay, cool. First, we got to purge you of all that thinking and all those toxins from your body. So I started doing what I know, started detoxing my body. I said, I'm going to focus on healing my body, so I can be around. My injury was a soft tissue injury. I could barely walk. My left leg was swollen, and I didn't know what was wrong with it, right?
Oh, no.
So I said, well, I can't go back on stage or even try to compete until I know what's wrong with me and until I figure out, am I healthy enough to continue at 49 years old? In that process, I'm healing my leg. I'm detoxing. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go back. Because even if I did, let's just say I went back and won Mr. Olympia. I'm still 50. It's still time to go do something else. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm not going to put any more energy into going back on stage or being a bodybuilder. I'm going to reinvent myself. I'm going to do something different. So first thing I did was decided to be happy. And I didn't notice at the time, but if you can be happy within yourself, you will attract all the other stuff that you need.
Boom. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
So I started being happy. I started speaking things into existence. A good friend of mine gave me a CD. And I was like, it was Creflo Dollar, right? I'm like, I don't miss no Creflo Dollar. He said, don't pay attention to the messenger. Just listen to the message. I'm like, okay, cool. I put the CD in my car and I think about it. I drive the same truck that I bought. We bought it back in 2003. It just hit 350,000 miles. I can go buy any kind of car I want right now, but I'm still driving that truck because that's my baby. It runs great. It looks exactly the same. So I don't need to go buy a Mercedes or whatever. You know what I mean? So I'm put the CD in my truck. I'm riding down the road and Creflo Dollar starts talking about the law of receiving, reaping and sowing. He said, if you want to receive something, you first have to give. Like everyone's in this rat race, chasing, hustling. What are they seeking? A harvest. They're trying to get something. What's in it for me? How much of the money we gonna make? Blah, 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 blah. Did you plant any seeds?
Right.
Did you tend the soil? You're expecting a harvest without doing any planting. So I switched my mentality. I said, you know what? I've been trying to achieve this goal and acquire this money and all this other stuff. I said, I need to stop and flip it around. So I said, you know what? Instead of me charging people for my expertise, I'm gonna give it away for free.
Yes.
I started planting seeds everywhere. And my wife was like, why are you doing that for all these people? I said, this feels right to me. I said, so until further notice, this is how I'm rolling. The first person I gave my program to for free, right? I got a 5-day program. We'll talk about it later.
Sure.
I gave it to her for free. She was telling me how she's been with this other company. She can't lose weight, And then I sent her the program for free. She was like, she looked at it. She's like, oh, I can't do this. This is too much. And I told her, I said, you keep doing the same thing you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same thing you've been getting. So I put her on the spot. I said, I'm giving it to you for free. Give me 5 days. I said, matter of fact, give me 1 day. She's like, what do you mean? I said, it's a 5-day program, but I'm telling you, I can get you in ketosis in the first 24 hours. She's like, that's impossible. I said, that's what I thought. I said, give me 1 day. So not even the 24 hours later, she texted me after she started the morning program. She texted me and showed me her little ketone stick. I'm in ketosis. I can't believe it. I said, I told you. So she lost 14 pounds that first week doing my program. And so that is actually was the spark. And I said, you know what? This works for me. I'm going to continue to give. And I haven't stopped yet. I mean, I keep on giving it away for free, and it just keeps returning, And that's the law of receiving. The law of receiving means you plant the seed in fertile soil, and you tend to it, and you reap the harvest. 30, 60, 90s, guaranteed. In other words, the harvest is guaranteed. So why focus on what's in it for me, how much I'm going to get, how much I'm, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so one of the important things, let me just interrupt you really quick. One of the important things is you didn't send it to her and say, hey, I'm sending it to you for free. Make sure that you go tell everybody and send me a bunch of business. You didn't do that. No, because if you'd have done that, that's the wrong intent.
Yeah. Well, that's another thing. Well, you just hit it on the nail. Your intent controls your harvest. When you're doing things for people, like people say, oh, I want to help people. Well, if you give a bum $5 on the side of the road, yeah, you help them because he didn't have any money. Try helping that person standing right next to you that you don't even know needs your help. You know what I'm saying? That's when you're actually helping people. When you start doing it, basically unconsciously, your intent remains the same. And that way, that's going to control, what you get out of the situation.
That's right. That's exactly right. 100%.
Why did that blow up in my face? Why didn't that work out correctly? All you got to do is rewind the tape and see where your true intent was, and it'll answer the question. That's
exactly right. 100% agree. Absolutely. That's exactly what I'm doing this podcast. I mean, I don't get paid. I don't even know how to monetize a podcast. So I'm doing this simply because I want to bring people individual stories all in one spot. So anyway, that's just one way of doing it. I'll tell you really quick, the best feeling I've ever had, and I mean best feeling of any drug, anything, is the year before last, we took a cooked meal anonymously to just one family on Thanksgiving and cooked. It was a spread, and it wound up only being a woman and her two kids, but they weren't going to have food, Tony.
Right.
And I mean, I get emotional.
Oh, I can feel it through this. I got you.
When just driving away from that house and leaving that food on that front porch was the best feeling I've ever had in my life.
I bet.
And I want it again.
I know that's right.
So sorry about that.
No, it's perfect. That's beautiful. It's the same way. You know, I'm doing what comes easy to me, and that means I'm living in my purpose. Your purpose in life, whatever comes easy to you and is more difficult for everyone else, that's your purpose. That's the thing you should be focusing on sharing with people, because that's your gift. And that's the whole thing. God gives us all gifts. And all he wants us to do is like, I gave you this, you didn't work for this. This is you. You were basically born with this gift. Share it. He took me through all those things. And I thought it was all to get the Mr. Olympia title. You know what I'm saying? I didn't think that knowing how to get people into ketosis, knowing how to help people lose weight, knowing how to help people with, depression or anxiety or whatever, because it's all based on what we put in our mouths. You know what I'm saying? We think that, these things are caused by certain things. It's the food we eat. It's the water we drink or the water we don't drink.
Right. That's exactly right.
That's what controls if you are, have depression, anxiety 10 years from now, 15 years from now. So all the, like my what I got out of my cleansing and my thing was, I want to develop something that I can help people. I basically want to help people reintroduce you. I want to reintroduce you to your non-toxic self. The person you were before you let the money, the cars, and, the drugs, the alcohol, the women, the partying, before you collected all that stuff, because we collect microorganisms our entire life. When you're born, you're a perfect human specimen, minus whatever you got from your mother. Do you understand that? Like you're in a sterile environment. So from soon as you're born, like if you're born and they put you on the nipple, right, and you came through the birth canal, you're at a way high, more advantage than most of us, because most of us came out C-section. We was on Similac soon as we were born. That's a disadvantage as a human being. You know what I'm saying? I know that there's a certain point in your life, usually it's in your teens, somewhere between 10 and 20, before you start introducing toxins of this world outside of the stuff that you got from your own household. I'm saying when you go start making your own decisions to drink beer, smoke, or party, or have whatever it is you decide to do, those are the things that you put into your body. From that, the moment before you start doing that, and then when you're 45, 50 years old, trying to figure out, why do I have high blood pressure? Why do I have diabetes? Why do I have, this type of stuff? It's because of all those microorganisms that we picked up in those 20, 30 years of living. So my purpose, because, he gave me the ability to figure this out, is just to try to help as many people, like I say, be reintroduced to your non-toxic self. And it's a journey too. It's not like something that, you're going to do in 5 days or even 5 years. It's everlasting, because we're continually bombarded by our environment. So we have to continually, deflect it and keep it moving.
Be the tortoise in the race. Be the tortoise. Because it's about the long game. It's not about how quickly you can get there. It's about sustaining the long game.
Right. Well, there's very few wealthy lottery winners. Most, I'm saying, the real wealth takes generations to build.
That's right.
So that's that real wealth. I'm after that. I'm after something that my kids and their kids could benefit from. And, it has to be established. It has to be set up in the foundation of the situation. And number one, your mindset. How do you view the world? What kind of stuff are you focused on? What is your intent? So I'm focused on having the proper intent and the positive energy and just helping. I love being an entrepreneur because, I get to wake up in the morning. What am I do today? Well, I get to make that decision on what I'm doing today because of the way that I think. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't have to go clock in. I'm not against none of that type of stuff, but it's what I chose to do. And I know that I'm my own boss. I can support my team. I can support other entrepreneurs like myself. We have really cool platforms. I can do multiple things at once because I'm not doing it all by myself. So
that's right. That's awesome. So, so let's talk about some of the endeavors that you're in now that you've made this. You know, you got through the dark time, which you said took about 18 months.
it was about 18 months.
Okay, and then what was your step after that? What got you out of that dark period?
Choosing to serve others. And I know when, as an entrepreneur, you know what? Perfect story. I watched a video of Jeff Bezos, right? I don't know if you've seen this, about 12 years ago. If you watched the video before Amazon blew up,
Mm-hmm.
he did this video about what was he focused on. He was focused on customer service, the customer's experience when they went to his website. And he said, that's what we still focus on. Why does everybody love Amazon? Because I can order something right now and it tells me it's going to be there at a certain time and it's there. That's customer experience. He focused on that. So when I say I'm focused on helping, like I said, I'm an empath, so it's easy for me to help others because guess what? I actually feel it when it benefits you. I can feel that. That's a rewarding experience for me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't mind helping people in whatever facet. Now, what I need to learn is try to discern people who are taking, and who are really needing help. That's my weakness. So I'm slowly learning how to do that. To in other words, to put my energy in to where it's deserved.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I basically chose to be happy. Then I chose to serve others, and that led me to one of the company that I'm, very passionate about. It's called Elevacity. We're into we have smart coffee. They call it happy coffee. I call it smart coffee because it does so many more things than just make you feel happy. So that's where I make the bulk of my money right now. And that's where the bulk of my focus. But like I said, I'm a serial entrepreneur. The chocolate bar that I let you try the other day.
Yes.
That basically came from my passion about gut health. I know that true health starts in the gut. So a friend of mine, he created a chocolate bar that has, pro and prebiotics, digestive enzymes, all the things that you need to have a healthy gut. And it's in a delicious chocolate bar. So a no-brainer as far as the business model goes. That, and then
well, tell me about the coffee. I'm interested about this coffee. What is different about your coffee?
So we have, it's 100% Arabica coffee, like most coffees, but it's added nootropics. So you see what I'm saying? So the coffee delivery system. So we have a coffee, we have a chocolate, and now we have actually a lemonade. But they're all basically the same. The nootropics stimulate the release of dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Those hormones that we, in order to, happiness is an experience. Yeah. Chemically, it's an experience. It requires X amount of dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. I mean, that chemical reaction is what happens in our body. When you hug someone, your body releases oxytocin. When you get a text from somebody that you care about, your body releases oxytocin. Or when you've been waiting on something that comes, your body releases dopamine. When you have a good meal, comfort food, your body releases serotonin. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
As a trainer, as a weightlifter for 30-something years, I was after that endorphin rush. So when I put myself and can train, guess what? I'm missing something. I couldn't even figure out what was wrong with me. I was like, what's going on? I was missing that endorphin rush from training. I started drinking this coffee, it gave me that endorphin rush. I didn't even miss training anymore. I was like, oh, it's the freaking coffee. I couldn't believe it. But you just don't, I think a lot of people just don't respect a cup of coffee, although it's the second most drank liquid in existence. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think that's so interesting about the added nootropics. I'm saying that right. So, and for the folks that don't know what that is, like he said, is it boosts the dopamine or releases serotonin, or the oxytocin also is what you feel. It's the love drug.
Yeah, it is. That's it. I've actually, when I do meetings, like before I even did this Zoom, we call it getting dosed up. I dose up, and now I'm turned on completely. I'm focused completely. My words come to me easily. I just feel better. you just feel alive. I've watched story after story after story. A lot of people come into our business because they want to lose weight. This product helps with appetite control tremendously because most of us eat emotionally. We see,
yes,
you know what I'm saying? We see a commercial or we, you know, blah, 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 blah. We go eat something makes us feel better. You know, well, I'm dosing up in the morning. Now I don't eat stuff just randomly. I'm not eating emotionally. My wife lost 35 pounds with basically no diet. Now, she doesn't eat crap anymore, right? But it's not like we're sitting there measuring stuff. And we just make better choices. And when you're not hangry or when you're not eating off emotion, you want to eat better because it makes you feel better in the long run. It makes you look better. So that's why I love that product. They have people who, you know, they just stuck. They don't know what to do. Well, they drink it. It turns on their dopamine, serotonin, or whatever. Now they get up and do their day. Think about all the people who haven't had a hug in a long time, who haven't had an oxytocin release because life is in the way. You know what I'm saying? If you take your happy coffee and happy pill and now you got that oxytocin relief, it opens up your eyes to stuff that you've been missing because you've been in your own fog. I know how they say they use that terminology, get your head out your ass, basically.
Right,
you know
right.
Like get out of your own way. You're grumpy because of something that's going on inside of you.
Ooh, yes, sir.
It's not really your environment. It's, you know, we are the rulers of our own happiness, our own existence.
That's
Once
right.
you leave your mom's house, it's all on you.
And it's a decision. All of it is just a decision.
Yep.
You can make a decision if you want to be pissed off, or you can make a decision that today's going to be a great day.
Yep, exactly. So every day, that's what I do. I wake up with an attitude of gratitude. And then I hydrate myself. First thing I do, I wake up in the morning and say, thank you. Then I go hydrate myself. You know what I'm saying? And now, what am I going to do? So while I'm making my little cup of coffee or whatever, I'm like, okay, am I going to go to the gym today? Am I going to exercise? The cool thing about it is I work from home or I really work from my phone. So I can do it anywhere. And that's a choice. You know, we have to free ourselves from the programming. You know, when you're born.
Oh my God, you just said my favorite word.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you're born, right? You're young. My mom had me when she was a teenager.
Okay.
Right? So my parents basically were teenagers when they had me. So when you're a teenager, are you thinking about changing Pampers and burping?
Absolutely not.
So imagine being a teenager with a 1-year-old, a 2-year. My mom had all of us before she was 21, which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah. Mind blowing.
The 4 of us. Mind blowing to me. But I literally got to grow up with my mom. She looks younger than me. I mean, it's crazy. But when we are programmed from the beginning, our parents, now we have iPads, iPhones, computers. So now people put their kid in front of a computer or whatever when they're a baby. You know what I'm saying? We had to go outside and play.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Yeah. Now it's even harder. The programming starts even earlier than it did when we came up. Our programming didn't really start till we went to kindergarten. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. First and second grade, they're showing us, the globe and how to do 1, 2, 3 and all that. That's when the programming starts. And it takes you all the way through your entire life. You have to break your own self out the matrix.
That's right.
Like the movie The Matrix, it's basically the mindset. The matrix is a mindset.
That's right.
It's a mindset. I'm going to work to build somebody else's brand. I'm going to work and they're going to give me like a little fraction of the money that you're generating. And if you're cool with that, so be it. But as soon as you break yourself out of the program and you realize that ain't enough, I'm better than that.
And part of that programming, Tony, is that we go to school as a kid and we are told to sit down, shut up, and and pay attention to the teacher. What do you do when you have a job? You go into the office, you sit down in front of the computer, and you do your job. It's the same damn thing. And it's just like with food. Food, same thing. I was a fat kid. Let me tell you why. Because my parents did not know what to feed me because, it was back in the day. And so that programming, clean your plate. I struggle today. I will look down and I look down at my plate and I'm thinking there's one more bite. I'm about to throw up. I'm so full. And in my mind goes to, you got to have that last bite.
Yep.
And it's all programming.
Yeah. When you think about our school system, the curriculum,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying? Like the curriculum, they change it every, I don't know, 15, 20 years because, you know, when the economy changes, they have to do the stuff that they programmed into us. They, you know, it's different. The kids now, it's a totally different level of programming. You know what I mean?
Sure.
As a parent, I'm sitting up there watching it like, whoa, my son knows everything that I know at 53 as far as outside information. He doesn't have the primary knowledge I have, but secondary knowledge is literally 30 seconds away.
Yeah.
Me and you could be sitting on one side of the table, and there could be 15 scientists on the other side of the table, right? And if we were talking about a specific subject and we got to use our computers, they wouldn't have it. We'd be just as on
Smart
it,
as them.
right?
Yeah.
But when you start talking about experiences and primary knowledge, they're going to be screwed. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Me and you, if me and you went through some things, I'm not saying they didn't go through some things, you know what I'm saying? But if you got put out on the street and you had to hustle, you'd be like, oh, I'm home. I don't want to be here, but at least I know what to do. You see what I'm saying?
That's right. No, you're right. Absolutely.
So we have to, like I say, you know, to free ourselves from the programming, and it's hard. It's not like you're going to just watch a course or do something and you're going to flip it. My thing was, I'm already an entrepreneur. I already know how to create things. So I had to get out of my own way. I had to stop saying, woe is me because I can't be a bodybuilder no more. Woe is me because, you know, I'm not going to, you know what I mean? And once I got over that and said, I'm going to be happy no matter what, then things started taking off.
That is exactly right. That's so true. You know, our mutual great friend, Nick, I opened a hormone replacement clinic in Raleigh, like, you know, just like Nick's. You've been to Nick's.
Right.
And went into business with a partner, and just for anybody out there that's thinking about doing being an entrepreneur, try not to go into it with a partner if you can, because
Right.
you know it's not a good idea. So the guy, I'll make a long story short, he walked into my office and said, basically, I'm not going to pay you anymore, and I didn't really understand it because I was running the entire thing. And so I'll fast forward a little bit. I went to, my wife got me a ticket to go see Tony Robbins. And when I went to go see Tony Robbins, thank God, because it helped me so much. But at the same time, because of what had happened, I felt like you did when you had to step off the stage. I felt like my baby had been taken from me. Mm-hmm. And so it was a tough time. And until I started this podcast, I was in a bit of a dark time. Mm-hmm. But God put, or whatever you want to believe, put things in my life because I do the right thing. Right. And I do help people regardless.
You're serving others.
Absolutely.
People don't understand, bro. Think about it. Now, two things I want to, you mentioned God earlier, and I know a lot of people don't like to talk about religion. So whether you believe in the Big Bang or let there be light, doesn't really matter. It's all coming from the same source. So pick one. It doesn't even matter.
That's right.
If you're an atheist, you don't believe in God, you believe in the Big Bang, it's still one source. If you believe in God, Jesus Christ, all that, it's still the same source. So that's clear that. That's what people need to understand. You don't have to look up and out in all these places. It's within you. You are the receptacle, and now it's your job to serve others. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's
infinite intelligence.
And I know it's kind of weird, but even the people that are making millions of dollars, they're still serving others. They're serving themselves as well. But, I'm going to use Kylie Jenner, right? This chick.
So that is ironic. Somebody literally yesterday told me, do you know how many followers she's got on Instagram? I didn't really even, I kind of knew who she was, but that's ironic you brought her name up. Go ahead. Sorry.
But I'm thinking, she is serving others. She is like showing I don't even know what she really does. I know she has a makeup line and all that. But the point is, these people are coming to her for something. And she's taking out the time to reciprocate, whatever it is. I mean, I don't know. A lot of times people need someone to look up to or whatever. And because of social media, you can build a huge following because of that or whatever. I'm clueless. Like I say, I look at them and say, wow, this woman has she's a billionaire and she ain't even 25. That's insane.
Oh yeah, barely 18, I believe.
Yeah. So exactly. So it's like I say, get back to your intent, find your purpose. Make sure your intent is pure, and then go for it, man. I listen to a lot of motivational speakers, and most of them have a great story, but a horrible. I mean, like homeless, eating out of trash cans, all that type of stuff. The best ones,
yes,
were eating out of trash, and like now they find, it's crazy, but it starts with mindset. And
100%.
like I say, you gotta like. Again, we are here to serve. When you're born, like I said, you're a pure human specimen. And all the things that you gather over your life, they mold you into whatever you're going to be. And you reach a certain age, it's you, that perfect specimen, plus whatever you collected. If you have a bad environment, bad diet, bad everything, you could see that. In 15, 20 years, 30 years, you could see that. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So as soon as you get your consciousness to where you realize, okay, I'm not going to let myself be programmed. I'm trying to help my son right now because it's extra hard now. Like I say, the programming comes way earlier and it's way more intense with the YouTube and the Google and all that. But
crazy.
The reason why we're here on this earth is not to serve ourselves. It's to serve others. It's like, what can you leave as a legacy? Did you chip in on this? You know what I'm saying? We are born with 90% of everything we need. You know what I'm saying? That 10%, when I say give 10%, that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about giving 10% of your earnings. 10% of you. 10% of you got to give to the world. That's then all those other people giving 10%, that's how you get what you know what I'm saying? That's how you complete yourself. I spent my whole pro career trying to be Mr. Olympia, thinking that Mr. Olympia was winning the Sandal and winning the title on stage. But when you get to Vegas to do the Olympia, you're like 98, 99% Mr. Olympia already. You know what I'm saying? And it took me to be out of the sport to realize that. This whole time I'm thinking that I had to go up there and let them tell me I'm Mr. Olympia when I was Mr. Olympia the whole time. All they have is the 1 or 2%, which is the trophy and the check. The rest of that, you have that before you even get to Vegas. And when I figured that out in my mind, I was like, man, that's how we all get trapped. That's how we all get trapped with the houses, the cars, and the women, and all that type of stuff. Because we think that's the prize. That's not the prize. The prize is realizing what's going on in here and what your real purpose is. All that other stuff is like decorations. It comes with it. People don't understand that. But the riches and all that type of stuff, it's already there. It already exists. So you don't have to like focus on that. You don't have to work hard for that. When you get to a certain point, you got enough money, then you can just go get it. You see what I'm saying? Like, now that I know this type of stuff, I can wake up every day saying, okay, who can I serve today? Who can I, you know what I'm saying? And I don't mean serve like, yes, I'm master. I'm talking about giving of myself with the pure intent to really help them, whether I'm getting paid for it or not.
Right here is the exact example. You're giving me your time. You don't have to do this. No. You don't have to do this. You don't have to sit here with me and have this conversation. But you know what? Whatever it was, we connected and the universe put us in the right spot at the right time. And here we are because you're doing this to help me and I'm doing it to help other people.
It goes back to what I said, the law of receiving. This is planting seeds right now. You and I are planting seeds in fertile soil. You don't even know this, but I wasn't supposed to meet you the other day. I came to meet somebody else, my guy that came upstairs afterwards.
Right.
I was downstairs to meet him. I didn't even know Nick was upstairs.
I did not know that.
He saw exactly. That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I'm trying to say. But when you have that seed mentality, every opportunity is an opportunity.
Yeah.
Every chance you get is a chance to get.
That's right.
So I came upstairs and I had my chocolate for my dude. And I'm like, wait a minute, I gave him some already. I don't even know. I just met Corey. I heard about you. I said, let me let them try it. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, never know. And now we're doing a podcast, which this is right here is like throwing tons of seeds. We don't know who's going to see this.
That's right.
But if you're seeing it, understand, become a sower of seed. Don't try to harvest before you plant seeds. Focus on the seeds that you're sowing with the right intent, which is your heart. What's in your heart? What are you really trying to do? Are you trying to get something for yourself? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, you're slowing the blessing. So focus on putting out the seeds. The harvest is guaranteed, period.
That's
And
right.
those are not my words. That is the law. It's called the law of receiving for a reason.
That's right. I agree 100%. And I've got to give my wife credit. We were, after you gave us the candy, the chocolate bars, we were walking away, and she said, hey, why in the hell did you not ask him to be on the podcast? And I went, I have absolutely no idea. And that's when I turned around and walked back, and she said, right. But it was supposed to happen.
Right.
It was supposed to happen.
Right.
So you mentioned your cleanse. You never told me about the cleanse. Tell me about it. What is it? How does it work? Tell me all about it.
When I used to get ready for shows, right? And before all my clients, our first 5 days together will tell me everything that I need to know about you as the person and how I can help you, right? So I figured out a 5-day, and I was thinking about shortening it to 3 days. But I think almost everybody can do 3 days of something before they lose it. You know what I'm saying? So those extra days is really for the head. It ain't really for the body. I think the first 3 days of the physical part will give people, let people know this is actually going to work. But those next 2 days is where you have to dig deep and say, man, do I really want to continue this or whatever? And it's not like it's horrible or extreme. It's just, I'm saying anybody can do 1 or 2 or 3 days. Those extra 2 days, I think, is what really makes you understand what you're trying to accomplish. And so my 5-day, it basically, it's an opportunity for you to basically release what's in the way. And I don't mean like going to the bathroom. I mean, just, in other words, we are, and we can't even really help it. Processed food, sugar, they call it's not a fast, because fasting means I'm giving up something, right? So it's like mimicking fasting. I don't want people to not eat, because that causes binging. So I created this program where for 5 days you're not eating processed food, you're eliminating sugar, you very little protein, so to give your body an opportunity to release whatever's blocking. There's a tea, you drink the coffee for your mindset, so you're not going to be hungry. The tea actually is a blend of 4 different teas. I use hyssop, which is a biblical herb that removes toxin. I use hibiscus, which removes uric acid and a lot of other toxins from your body breaking down protein. I use turmeric and ginger, really good for anti-inflammation. And then I use eucalyptus. Eucalyptus is parasites hate eucalyptus. Pathogens eucalyptus, for some reason, it repels them. So you drink this tea, you drink the coffee in the morning, you drink the tea throughout the day. You take greens, powdered greens. You can use any brand you want. I actually make my own. So the greens are nutrients, micronutrients, because that's what's, we're missing. That's almost everyone in America is overfed and malnourished. We all have some kind of deficiency. It's because the nutrients aren't in the food, period. So, and most of us eat kind of the same stuff all the time. We don't even realize it. If you like burgers and steaks, we don't eat around the whole spectrum. We eat what we like. We go to the grocery store, we pick and choose what we want. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day when we were hunter-gatherers, we ate fruits and berries and certain times of the year, that stuff didn't grow. There was no refrigerator, so we couldn't store it. You see what I'm saying? Yes. We don't cycle our foods like we did in nature. We eat whatever the hell we want. So you end up with a lot of deficiencies, malnutrition. I call it. When I used to bodybuild and train for shows, I'd be ripped, shredded all out because I'm eating white fish, white rice, white potato. It's great clean fuel, but there's no nutrients in it. Right? So as soon as you come up the diet, you finish your diet, the show's over, you go eat regular food, you blow up like a tick. It's because your body is hoarding nutrients that it hasn't had for 4 months. So I wanted to come up with a program. How do I circumvent that? I got to make my diet nutritious, so when I go back to eating regular food, it's not a shock to my body. So I created a cleanse to help people, clear the clutter, get their micronutrients topped off, put them in ketosis so their body can start burning fat. And then we put them on a whatever program you want to do. Some people like keto, some people like paleo, whatever. So the 5 days to clear the clutter. You take a couple days break, and then you start whatever program you're going to start. So that's where it came from. And like I say, it's easy for me because I did it for 20-something years. Sure. So I basically just wanted to make something simple because, a lot of times these programs, what's the best program? whichever one you'll actually do, that's the best one. Because all of them are just,
great point.
They're just, whatever they're written on or typed on, they're only as good as that paper. The one that you'll do is the one that's the best. So that's where it came from. That's how I started it. I share it. As a matter of fact, I'm over here doing this with you, but that's what I came over here for, to put this in an automated system so I can reach as many people as humanly possible. And the program is free. Again, I'm planting seeds. Now, there's supplements that you need, and you have to buy them. You can buy the ones I recommend, or you can buy your own version or whatever. But the point is, I'm planting seeds. I'm giving of my talents. I'm giving of my time. I spent decades learning this stuff, so it's like breathing to me. It's like giving you an extra breath. It's nothing to me. So I give it away for free with the intent of helping you reintroduce yourself, start the journey, the first couple of steps of helping you meet your untoxic self, that person you were, like I said before, we toxified ourselves. That person's beautiful, man. Yeah. When I was reintroduced to my untoxic self, it broke me down to, I broke down and cried because I realized that at 19, instead of me, continuing to serve others, I'm a preacher's kid. So that was lined up for me. I went to be a male stripper, serving myself, and a construction worker, serving myself, and then a bodybuilder, serving myself. And I was good at it. I was good at all of them. I probably was the best sheetrock hanger in Atlanta back in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I definitely was the best male dancer in Atlanta back in the early 90s. You know what I'm saying? And I became one of the best bodybuilders ever. At 6'2", there's never been anyone ever 6'2", 305 pounds with a 31-inch waist. In history, I'm the only one. I don't care. You can blind them up. I'm telling you, I know for a fact because I'm a student of the sport. And when you, in the end of the day, it's still what are you on the inside? What are you on the inside? Because all that stuff fades away. It goes away.
That's right.
You wake up and, like I said, I took the muscle suit off just so people would actually look me in the eyes.
Yeah.
For real.
What's interesting, and you mentioned this earlier, but to circle back, and you said, I didn't realize that all those years of bodybuilding, I was learning to do really what you're doing right now with the 5-day cleanse. All that training was for this right now.
Yeah. To serve. Now I use that same talent, passion, intensity to serve others. And guess what? I make a hell of a living doing it without even charging. It's like amazing. I'm like, how did you do that? I say, well, first and foremost, every recipe, you still got to go buy the eggs and the flour and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I basically give people the recipe. You go buy your own version of it. Like I said, you can use what I recommend, or you can do it yourself. Some people say, can I do it without all that? I'm sure, but then it won't be the 5-day. It'll be your way. It won't be my way. It'll be your way. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you want to create it, knock yourself out. If you want to, life is about the journey. Well, if you follow people, if you have a mentor, right? So your mentor is going to keep you from falling down holes that you would normally fall down. You know what I'm saying? And that's what the mentor is for. So I want to be people's mentor as far as that goes. You could call me, and people know this. People who know me, you can text me, call me, message me. I respond. If I see it, I respond. Like, I'm not the most tech savvy person in the world, so I didn't know that on Messenger, anybody can send you a message on Messenger. But if you're not their friend on Facebook, it goes into this other file, on this other little thing. So and I don't even know how to get in it. So every once in a while, I'll go there and I'll see stuff from like 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, shit, I didn't answer that. But you know what I'm saying? So in other words, if I know you, if you're in my situation, I usually answer almost as soon as I get it. And if you say, well, he didn't answer mine, that's the reason. That's the reason why. But the thing is, my intent is to serve others. My intent is to give you the proper information to save you, to keep you from bumping your head. If I tell you don't go down there because this is whatever, and you go down there anyway, whose fault is that? You knew better. Some people need to learn the hard way. I have no problem with that. I've learned so many lessons the hard way. But I like to hire mentors, like when it comes to doing my taxes. I'm not going to sit up there and try to do my taxes. I'm going to call somebody that knows how to do that. So I don't get in trouble. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So anybody out there want to detox their body and all that, I know how to do it. I've done it for years. The bodybuilding is a awesome, sport or whatever, but it's a toxic environment, as is all the rest of them. But you do a lot of things to your body, and to a certain degree that regular people will never even know about. You know what I'm saying? And for me to come out of that situation and still be as healthy as ever and all that. I mean, that's a skill in its own to keep you from. You're either bodybuilding or you're body destruction. It's either or, no matter what. If you play tennis, all athletes bodybuild to do their sport. Period. They eat a certain way, they train a certain way. That's bodybuilding. So that's why I love bodybuilding, because it basically it's you against you. You know what I'm saying? What you put in your mouth, how much sleep you get, what kind of water you drink, what kind of food you eat, the way that you lift. All those things have to be on point. It's not some random thing. It's not like throwing darts. All those things are required in order for it to come out right. And it still might not come out right. I mean, think about it. Think about the millions of people who actually do it. There's only been 15 Mr. Olympias, bro. They started in 1965. There's only been 15 guys to actually be Mr. Olympia. Think about that.
I did not know that. That's insane.
So for you as an individual that wakes up and says, I want to be Mr. Olympia one day, I'm like, you need to think about the journey you're about to take. Because you have people like Flex Wheeler, Chris Cormier, Sean Ray. I mean, those guys weren't Mr. Olympia. Those are three of the greatest bodybuilders ever. Kevin Levrone never got to Mr. Olympia. You see what I'm saying? Like, so who am I? Who am I to even be on that stage? I was just like, oh my God, I'm literally up here. They literally called my name. I'm literally, you know what I'm saying? That's literally Joe Weider right there I'm sitting next to.
I can't even imagine. Can't even fathom.
It's so mind-boggling. So mind-boggling. I started bodybuilding at 162 pounds. At my height, at my peak, I was 323 pounds. That's literally a whole nother me.
Yeah.
And I literally woke up one day realizing that, who was that extra 162 pounds?
Shit. Well, folks, we went out, but I'm assuming he'll log back in. Well, I had a chance to, sorry, I went kind of radio silent on that. Man, what a story this dude's got. God almighty. I mean, guys, I had no idea that this guy was top 5 of the Mr. Olympia. Like, and there's only been 15 Mr. Olympias in the whole world. In the world, there he is. All right, boss man.
Hey.
Yes, sir. All right.
Yeah, they didn't plug the computer up, so I had to switch to my phone. Sorry about that.
That's all good. It's all good. You remember where you left off?
No, not really.
Well, that's okay. So, so Tony, I was going to ask you, first of all, where can people find the cleanse? Where can people find you? And is that before you tell us all that, I want you to talk about the nonprofit or the charity, the bars that you're going to do for the kids. Is that okay? Can you talk about that?
Yep. All right. So let me show you my bars. This is Nordy. Did you try this one too?
That one was the one I loved.
Okay, cool. And then this is the flagship bar. This bar it's all based on gut health. So this bar has pro and prebiotics, digestive enzymes, glutamine, and it also is fortified with hemp protein. All right.
So what's interesting about that? Why did you choose hemp protein? I know the reason, but tell everybody the reason.
Because it's vegan, because it's all 22 amino acids, because it's a complete food. It has protein, carbs, and fat in it. I've been doing hemp since early 2000s.
Sure.
And I used it most of my whole career. And it's probably the best protein on earth. Hemp has its own protein that's unique only to the hemp seed. So it doesn't come from any other source. That in itself made it interesting to me. And, our country was built on hemp.
That's exactly right.
Betsy Ross made the flag out of hemp. All the ships, all
Henry
that.
Ford.
The Declaration of Independence is written on hemp. You know what I'm saying? So this is from God. So that's why we chose it, because it is the best. And then we have something for the kiddies, which I didn't let you try this one. I didn't have any on me.
Okay.
Little bite size. So this brand, I'm going to basically, for lack of a better word, I'm going to change brands, because this bar is made in Australia. It's very expensive to produce this product. Very expensive. And so I have probably about 150,000 bars left. And so I was trying to find a way to, how can I I can have a huge, massive sale. But what I wanted to do was try to find some of these fundraisers, like booster clubs or whatnot, trying to raise funds for their teams and all that. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to try to work out a deal. And you got to understand that idea I came up with like 4 or 5 days ago. So I actually met you probably right after I thought about, how do I do this? Because my business partner was like, we're going to go another direction. So I want to liquidate these bars and kind of like start over. We were already working on the new brand. So, in other words, I don't care how much I make off of it or nothing. My intent is to definitely liquidate the bars, but really it's just, I'm going to just give something away that's really good. I'm probably right now, probably when we get off, I'm probably going to go on the website and cut it 40% off or 50% off or whatever. And then once we get rid of them, I can circle back around with the new version that'll be affordable. This bar was $5. This bar is $4, right? And these are like $1 a piece. Selling it direct to a consumer, not bad. But when you're trying to get it in stores and all that, you just gotta have a better price point. So, that's just a lesson that I learned.
Well, and so I'll just tell you this, and maybe this is one of the seeds that we were discussing earlier. I'm assistant coach of my daughter's basketball team. So with that being said, she's 10 years old. Guess what? She's going to keep playing basketball. And guess what? I have access to the people there.
Wow.
And I can absolutely help you with that fundraiser for at least that. And who knows where it can grow from there.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. So instead of me focusing on, oh my God, where it could go, mm-hmm. I just, my intent is to share. So, I brought those bars with me the other day, had no idea I was going to see you or Nick or whatever. And that's just my mentality. People always say, you're always, I'm not a salesman. If you get something from me, I'm usually giving it to you. Like 99% of the time I'm giving it away. I get people tell me, why do you do that all the time? I'm like, listen, I'm not going to try to sell you on something. If I share it with you and you love it, then I'm the person you can get some more from. If not, then no love lost. You know what I mean?
That's it. Yeah.
So I basically, as an entrepreneur, everything that I give away, I get to write it off on my taxes anyway. You know what I'm saying? Exactly so right. I don't even trip. What else? Again, Les Brown told me I needed to be a motivational speaker. I have a coach who keeps telling me, you belong on stage and all this other stuff. And that's something that I really want to do. But I don't want to do it in the capacity to where people are coming to see me. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I really want to be a part of something that I can share my story and do my thing. But I had enough of, oh, that's the X-Men. Oh my good. I don't need any what do you call it? The spotlight.
Sure. I
don't crave that. I don't crave that at all. As a matter of fact, I truly enjoy going to the mall or going somewhere and I may or may not be noticed, although I have yet to go somewhere and somebody not say, what's up, X-Man? But still, like, I don't feel like I'm on stage or on that all the time. I enjoy, my own quiet space, being around my family and friends and all that. You know what I'm saying? So yes. I do want to be a motivational speaker, but it's not for me to be, famous or nothing like that. It's just people I have something to say.
So. Sure. Interestingly, I'm pairing it. That is the exact path that I'm heading on is to be on stage. And I bet Kit Cummings.
Heard of him. Yep.
Okay. So he's a friend of Nick's. Anyway, So a group of guys there's about 5 of us that are a part of Arte, which is a group by Ed Milet and Andy Frisella. And a group of us are coming to Atlanta, ironically, on February 14th. And I don't know the details of all of it yet, but there's 5 of us that are going to come and speak at a venue that one of us is setting up. I don't know, and the reason I don't know the details is because I didn't set it up. Anyway, it is Valentine's Day, but if you we can talk about this off camera if you'd like, and you're more than welcome to come and be a part of it. I mean, that'd be really cool, you know.
I'd love to.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd love to. Yeah.
So Tony, where can people find you? Tell me all your social handles, IG, Facebook, all that good stuff.
I don't even know them all by heart. By the time we release this thing, I'll have all my stuff in one location. But really, if you go to my fan page, it's X-Man Toney Freeman, Toney. You'll find me there. My regular Facebook is Toney Freeman, of course. There's a few fake ones out there, so you might want to send me a message, make sure it's me. My IG is TFXman305. Again, by the time we put this out, I'll have all that stuff together. But again, like I told you, this is all about me serving others. You know what I mean? So if somebody they want me to speak, they want to get my 5-day, whatever, you'll be able to find me either through you or through my regular channels.
Sure. That's fantastic. Tony, I can't thank you enough for coming on today and sharing with my audience your story. And I didn't know, I had no idea the person that I was going to be sitting in front of today, but I'll tell you what, you've been a blessing to me and to my audience, and I can't thank you enough, man.
I really appreciate it. And, again, coming from where I come from, being, 300 pounds in shape and all that, I used to go places. I've been all over the world. There's only a couple of countries that I haven't been in. People would fly me over there first class, pay, treat me like a king. And I've had several times where my host, right? I remember one time I went to England, and we did a 10-city tour in England, driving to each spot. And so after about the 3rd trip, the guy who was hosting me, we were driving on the highway. I'll never forget it. And we're talking. Then he stopped me. He said, Tony, I have to stop you for a second. I'm like, what's up? He said, I need to apologize to you. And I'm just like, what do you mean? He said, you're this, that, and the other. He started talking about my bodybuilding accolades over there. He said, I had no idea that you were like this. He said, I want to apologize. And I'm like, that's not necessary. He said, no, I'm just really doing it to me so I could feel better. Because his perception of what I should have been was so far to the left of what I really am.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That he felt like he wanted to get back on an even playing field. It was funny. It was funny to me, and I appreciated it because I was like, wow, that is a trip. People, your perception is reality. In other words, if they perceive you a certain way, you could be the kindest, gentlest person in the world. They perceive you as a big black, scary black man. That's just the way that they perceive you. You see what I'm saying? And to have the opportunity to show people the real me, this, like doing like this, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I want to do, because I've always felt like, even though we came up poor, even though, I didn't go finish college and all that type of stuff, I still felt like I had advantage on the world just because, and on the inside, you know what I'm saying? On the inside, I felt like I was chosen or blessed or special or something. And so now I know my purpose is to serve others. And now that I've embraced that, and that's really what I do, I'm as happy as I can be. I haven't been this happy ever in life. And I can tell you some scary stuff that I'm dealing with right this second, and it doesn't even affect my happiness. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so now I need to know one of the scary things.
My wife just got diagnosed with breast cancer.
Oh, no.
One of my business, completely failed. But again, instead of me crying, I'm just going to serve others and continue doing what I'm doing. Everything in this life is not for us. You know what I'm saying? I tell people all the time, most of our tests, most of the things that test us, most of our challenges is to make us better. So what I do is I turn my test into testimonies. You know what I'm saying? I take the challenge, I take the problem, I take the whatever, and instead of me dwelling on the actual issue, I focus on how can I fix it. I become a solution type of person. You know, all these people are the critics. They always got criticism to tell you, but they don't have solutions. They can't tell you how to fix it. They just tell you what's wrong with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to fix things. I want to help people find solutions. So again, my wife we were both terrified, right? And then I said, wait a minute. It's not like this is the first person to ever get diagnosed with cancer. I said, wait a minute. So I started remembering all the lectures, all the times that I went to these different lectures that didn't, you know, I went to it's called Keto Academy. It's in Florida every year. And what Keto Academy is all the scientists that are working on ketosis and cancer research and all that. They all come to this one spot and they get up and they tell all the latest research and all that. So I listen to cancer specialists who are literally, that's all they do all day is try to figure out how to fight cancer, blah, 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 blah. And I started recalling, I said, well, cancer can't survive in an alkaline environment. It needs a low oxygen environment, so you got to increase the oxygen. First thing I did, told my wife, I said, first thing we're going to do is get you in ketosis. We're going to get you off of sugar and processed foods and all that type of stuff. We're going to get your pH together. So I'm testing her pee, me and hers. Every time we pee, I'm testing it for pH and conductivity. You know, make sure she puts the right, dude, she's better. She's in better health than she's ever been in her life. I said, so what we did was we stopped it in its tracks. We done went through every kind of test. Next week we go to do a whole 7-day ultra transformation cleanse that I'm going to do. And so that's how we're biting it, you know, fighting it. You know, a lot of people say go to the doctor and get chemo and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. If we end up doing that, it'll be the very last resort. Very last resort.
So I want to say two things. One, the reason that she has breast cancer is because you have such a presence that you can bring more awareness to it. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing I want to tell you about is in Las Vegas, there's a place called, I think it's called Cocoon, and I think it's spelled weird with a K. I need you to look it up though, because it's important, because what it is a place that you go and you lay in this water. And what this water does is it oxidates the cells in your body. And what that does, as you know, kills off the cancer. Now, the water doesn't kill the cancer, but your body heals and kills the cancer. So I need you to look that up. Yes.
Yeah, cancer is an alteration of our environment. All it is your cells that were working correctly, they're getting the wrong information because of toxins and all this other stuff. And a lot of it's emotional too. She was in outside cells. She cared, you know, people need to understand, so many people, they hold stuff in. When you hold stuff in, it festers. You're not supposed to hold stuff in. So the emotion with the toxins equals the disease, a dis-ease state.
Dis-ease.
You know what I'm saying? So first thing you got to do is understand, you know, even go look up Webster's dictionary of what cancer is. You don't have to be terrified of it. It's not like you're on fire. You don't have to, like, you know what I'm saying? Like these doctors, they scare you because we got to do a biopsy. Okay, now we got to do surgery. We got cancer or radiation. And what's well, first and foremost, what is it? And then I ask doctors, they get mad at me. How many people have you healed? And then they look at me like, I'm like, well, why am I even sitting here? Because you're here to treat the cancer. I need you to treat me. You know what I'm saying? So
chemo, and chemo kills. The chemo not only it may kill the cancer, but it also kills the good cells. Yeah.
It destroys everything. And that's what I'm saying. People need to just stop. Okay, first you got to stop what you're doing and change your lifestyle, change your life. You know what I'm saying? And then when you do that, and a lot of people, well, what do I do? Well, first of all, I'm not an expert in what to do, but I'm pretty good at what not to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's easier to, we've all made enough mistakes to know what not to do. The first time you burnt your hand on the stove, right? That was on you, because you already knew. You had been warned 100 times before you actually did it yourself. You know what I'm saying? So now, the time your mom, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that, don't touch that. Well, the one day that you actually touch it, now you know why she told you not to touch it. But guess what? You didn't touch it again.
No, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You didn't touch it again because now you know. And so the thing about me is, like I say, I've listened to so many lectures, so many speeches about people, and they basically just gave you the actual facts. It cannot survive in this environment, blah, blah, blah. So, bro, I got hyperbaric chamber, infrared sauna. I mean, I got it all. You see what I'm saying? So now I know, okay, now, once I get her in a certain point of health, okay, now, doctor, you can talk to her. You see what I'm saying?
And it'll probably be gone.
You got to understand, that's the thing. I've already taken her to do like 7 different tests, and they said, well, you don't actually have cancer. You have the markers for it. In other words, the environment is right. You know what I'm saying? You have the residue or whatever. But I'm looking at this woman who just transformed in front of my face. And I kept telling her, I said, now, you're scared, of course. I said, but look at you. What are you scared of? You're scared of the unknown. You're scared of the programming.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look at yourself. You know how you feel? I said, that's all programming. My aunt, God rest her soul, she had I'm gonna say 3 centimeter, but I think I think it said 3 millimeter, but let's just say 3 centimeter tumor in her lung. And I said, okay, she has really good insurance, and I knew that. And I told her, I said, can I help you get in, in a certain state before you start doing all this other stuff? Didn't want no parts of it. After all that happened, and then when the doctors say, well, you go home and get your affairs in order, there's nothing else I can do for you. They did 8 different chemos, bro. They did 8 different chemos. And then they told her, that's it, we can't do no more, see ya. I'm like, wow.
That's unbelievable.
Wow, that's crazy. So I tell people all the time, I'm not against doctors, physicians, all that type of stuff. I said, but we are in control of our own situation. You're the one that created the environment to give yourself cancer. You're going to have to be the one to create the environment. In other words, you got to kick cancer out your body.
That's right.
You got to kick these. That's my 5 days. It's not going to change your life in 5 days like that, but it's going to remove the clutter so you can actually see what it feels like to be in ketosis, to be free of clutter. Now, it's your choice. You can go back to McDonald's after that, or you can start doing the right thing after that. But at least you have an opportunity. So many people are stuck. They don't know what's that first step. So my 5 days is about the beginning of the journey. I don't even know where you're trying to get to. All I know is you got to clear the clutter. You got to clear the path. I got all these ways we can heal myself. Let's deal with, guess what? We can only control 3 things. What we see with our eyes, what we let into our ears, and what we put in our mouth. We have 0 control over nothing else in our life. You don't control your wife. If she left home this morning, you have nothing to do with her returning. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
When you grasp that and understand that's all you can control, man, when I realized that, I'm like, man, I got to control me. I got to control what I'm doing, what I'm saying, what I'm listening to. And you know what I'm saying? So I tackled that, and all of a sudden, I started attracting the people that I needed in my life. I started, having no more money problems. You know what I'm saying? So it's make that choice, get you a mentor, like I said, get to that mindset and start serving others. And I don't mean like a slave. I mean like, in other words, you're the value, be the value. I'm bringing value to your life. That's how I'm serving.
That's right.
So I want people to understand what I mean by serving others, by bringing value to your surroundings. That's how you're serving others, not in the subservient way.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, boss.
All right.
Tony, my pleasure, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate this more than you know, and you have brought tremendous value today. So I thank you so much. And on that note, we're going to rock and roll and end. All right, brother?
Awesome. Thank you.
You're awesome. Thank you, brother.
You too, man.
All right. Talk soon.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.